Okay, how you guys doing? Can you guys hear me at all? Let me be sure everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, type I can hear you. If you can hear me, type all is good. Type all is well. Okay? Welcome from whatever parts of the world you're joining me from. Where we're doing the first Instagram live with Dr. Cosmos for the year. We haven't been able to do since the beginning of this year, but we've done a lot of physical events. But super excited to be doing the first Instagram live event for the year. And I'm very sure there's a lot you will learn today, I can assure you. The topic is simple. How do you gain integrity after losing it? Okay, how do you gain back integrity after losing it? Because one of the things that I've seen over time is we will all at some point fall short of integrity. By the way, tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. I want to know the various countries we have people joining us from. Your name and the city you are joining from. So just type your name and the city. Okay, good to see a lot of you here. Precious from Canada, good to see you. Just type your name and where you're joining from. So we're looking at the subject of how do you gain integrity after losing it. It's a major thing. None of us is perfect. We'll make mistakes in the course of doing business. Just give me a second. I'm here. Hello, sir. I've started actually. Maybe you want to leave and join again. Yes, I'm live. Yeah, I've been live for a while. Maybe you need to leave and join back. You will show. So, basically, I can see a few people here. Me, Windy City. Where is Windy City? Samson from Atinsola, Bauchi. Wow, how's Bauchi today? Okay, where else do we have? Okay, David Bab, Ramsey Okoro from Nigeria. Where in Nigeria? Uche Power from Berlin, Germany. Uche, welcome. Let me see, what other city do we have people here? We are from Port Harcourt is here. Welcome all the way from Port Harcourt. We have, who else do we have? So as you're joining, tell me your name and the city you're joining from, okay? Your name and the city you're joining from. So like I said today, yes, I'm Precious from Calgary, Canada. Thank you for anchoring the Calgary event and all that you did. I appreciate it. Yemi, Land of Lincoln. Where is Land of Lincoln? Okay. Some of you give me these names. I'm not sure I know. So you have to mention the country. Some of us, we live in places that we just assume everybody understand. Emmanuel from Port Harcourt, welcome. Ajibola David from Nigeria. Emeka from Abuja, welcome Emeka, good to have you. Hello, sir, you need to turn it the other way around. You need to turn the camera the other way. Perfect, yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, but I've been sending you requests you were reading and not attending to me, but it's okay. You are.
It's not me. I was accepting. It's not me. Technology can be funny. This is the fourth time I'm accepting you.
Oh,
It's,
this is
yeah.
the fourth time. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
I
only
kept,
admitting me now.
yes,
Yeah,
I
so
kept accepting. Wasn't bringing you up.
okay.
Uh, uh,
I was
welcome.
thinking you got caught up with
No,
uh,
no,
reading.
not at all.
Haven't been able to see me or consider it important to admit me, but it's okay. We are on.
The conversation is about you. Welcome, sir. Good to have you.
Good to be.
Um, And so, guys, you're all welcome. Good to have you. As you're all joining, remember your name and the city you're joining from. Also, share this video and let's get more people to join. Daniel from Africa Resource Center for Ethics. Okay, Ethics Space. Welcome, Daniel. Okay, more as you're joining, share this link and let's get more people to join us. Okay, invite as many people as possible. We know that the notice was short. I think the notice was shared uh, few minutes ago, but hey, this is the day that works for Dr. Cosmos, so let's make it happen. And it's important to maximize it, okay? Festus from Lagos, Adebanjo from Port Harcourt, you're all welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, remember, share the link, get more people to join us in this conversation today. We're looking at the subject, very important, which is how do you gain integrity if you lose it, right? And it's a very, very important topic that we need to look into. A lot of times we do business, and for some reason, we lose credibility, we lose integrity. You make promises, and due to no fault of yours, you've lost it. But you and I know that to scale your business, just like the title of the book we co-authored, scaling business with integrity. You need integrity to scale business. So you lose integrity. How do you gain it back? That is what we are focusing on today. We'll also be taking as many questions as possible. We might have a surprise guest. He hasn't guaranteed, but he said we try and join. When my surprise guest join us, I will let you know as well. But we most likely have a surprise guest joining us. I don't want to mention who the surprise guest is until he comes. Okay. Dr. Cosmos, how are you today?
Stephen, I'm doing okay. It's a pleasure being with you this afternoon.
Congratulations on the street name after you, the Cosmos Maduka Drive. It was a glorious event yesterday, and congratulations one more time, sir.
Thank you very much. The pleasure was greatly mine, and like I say, it was a humbling experience for me to be considered to have a street named after me, and I think in my own disposition is something I consider that I'm most undeserving of, but in your own wisdom and the way some of you judge it, you said I over-deserved it, but okay, I accept. It was how to be. Yeah.
Yes, you are more than deserving of it, and we're glad to do it. So I'm going to start shooting my questions. First of all, how do someone lose integrity? Because sometimes I realize that people don't even understand that they've lost integrity, right? So what are the things that constitute to losing of integrity before we now go into how do you repair it when it is lost? Because if you don't know, a crime or you don't know a thing, then, you won't even feel guilty about it. So what does it mean to lose integrity?
Well, Stephen, fine. We are taking this subject today. Frankly speaking, I think that this topic is an important topic that I would rather, you mentioned while we had the discussion last Sunday that we'll
Yeah.
take, but I said no, you should leave it for now, because
Okay.
my idea is that this topic is such an important topic or subject that we need to properly advertise for people to come in with a question, because I will actually like to title it "How to Restore a Broken Character." Yeah, it's a topic that is very critical, which, if you notice, most of our young followers voluntarily, openly have admitted they made mistake.
Yes.
Quite a number of them who had not followed us before now, in their quest to struggle, the way they've been brainwashed based on what they see in the system. You got to be clever. And being clever means tell a lie, destroy relationship to be able to make it. But quite a number of them beginning to realize, hey, wait a minute, this is not a way to go.
Yeah.
And feel very sorry in their mind. But the question, they still have unanswered question. How do I make up for those lost days? How do I regain it? It's not a topic I would like to take in a very short notice for those that it matters so much are not there. It's unfortunate we didn't get to agree. But with me alone, my idea today would have been to take those questions people asked in the last event we have that we did not answer. We had an event last, but there are a number of questions you have given them a website to say to or an email.
Okay, the Jamie Pajuel event.
Jimmy Pajo event. So if we can pull off those questions, we start answering them. Whether the people are there or the other people that can benefit, they can always come back here.
Yeah.
But the subject of repairing broken character on integrity is something we need to advertise and create time to discuss, because it's a subject that is in the heart of many young men and women success in life, in business, and it would be appropriate that we give it the attention that it deserves and make sure that as many as possible who can call in online to benefit from it. It's not something I would like to do just like on the spot of the moment, and we are not to catch the kind of audience that I think that it deserves or that I would like to be talking to. So we can start advertising it now, that it is a subject to take in our next, whenever it will be. That is something when next we are going to do this podcast live, that is the subject that we are going to be dealing with. So for those who are interested, they should be looking out for it and prepare their questions if they have had such similar experience that they want to make good. If they haven't had, for those that have had, we will be able to take that subject and deal with it and give it the attention that it deserves. So that's will be my own position.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. Though I think the organizers were not able to post the email address that day because we didn't really get those questions in. But let me see if I can even call Jamie. If there's another way he probably got those questions. But guys, if you have questions generally aside just that topic, so we'll probably take that topic next month. But if you have questions generally, please feel free to, there's a question section here. Feel free to add your question. You can type it. If you also want us to bring you up, we'll bring you up and be able to take your questions. Like we said, this monthly meeting, we apologize that we've not been able to do it this year. This is the first time we're doing this year. So
we've done 2 or 3 things that we are saying people could take in exchange of it. Do book launch.
Yeah.
We had the book review by a special guest we're expecting today. We had the other topic. So we said they could substitute for it because we are unlimited in capacity, time, energy to be able to do this. So people that follow us must understand that it's not every month that we can truly be able to come here. There are some, if we do similar things, there are some of them that could substitute for it, and they can take it to be the same, because I require energy, require time, and for myself as an individual, my most scarce commodity today is that of time. So I have very limited time. So for anybody to think that we are that available, it takes a lot of sacrifice without one sounding trumpet for himself to be able to do this. As I speak to you now, it's under 30 minutes. I just came back from church for me to do this. I'm not taking a breakfast, but it's a program time that is available for both of us to be able to what we have to use to be able to do it. So people must appreciate that. So when we are not able to do it and have a substitute for it, they have to make do with it until the next time it's available.
No problem. There's a question somebody privately asked me that day, even though we haven't gotten the ones that they were supposed to send via email, but I would like to push it to you. And it's a question about the fact that in the Nigerian ecosystem, what is the compensation advantage if you choose to do business without, bribe, without being clever or cutting corner? How do you, because some of them said, for somebody who's not into car business or necessarily dealing with multinationals that necessarily value those kind of things, how else can one still stay competitive in business? Because by choosing to go the right way, so you have cut off some people from doing business with you.
Well, Stephen, we must be very clear that it's about value system. What are your values in life? You cannot eat your cake and get it back. If you stand for value, not to be corrupt or support corruption, you don't need a prophet to tell you it limits you in this country. It limits your growth. It limits your supposedly, in quote, success in that direction. Because of my value system as an individual, there are several different levels of hospitality industry that I can never get involved in as a business because of my value system.
Wow.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow.
Take, for instance, I cannot own a hotel. Because if I want to own a hotel, for me to get guests, I must sell alcohol, different type of them and all of that. And it's my value system that I don't drink alcohol. I can't give people alcohol. I've been shotgun not to present alcohol. They didn't shoot me when I went to marry my wife because I didn't have money. It's that I refused to bring alcohol.
true.
So then now and open a business that associate with it. So you can't ask how will the system compensate you. Bible said those who will live godly in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution. There are limited positions you have today, and take for instance in real estate business for bribery and corruption. Let's be very honest. The place you can be confronted with it is getting C of O. You meet a family that had a property, they are willing to sell to you. There's no competition of bribery and corruption there.
Yeah.
It's not getting you to industry. If the deal, you pay them and you own the property, then you put your paper. If you're so willing to be patiently wait, you get your C of O. Frankly speaking, even from moral persuasion, you can get your C of O. The only way you can start cutting corner is if you want to say, please devalue my property. Don't value it for the correct value. So that I
pay less.
So the temptation on it is, what you know is that when you have certain value, it will make you exit certain businesses. Because you cannot compete in it.
Yeah.
Share with you. Several years ago, I used to be in the board with a gentleman who I know is really a perfect gentleman. And we got talking, and he was telling me his plans and idea to get involved in politics. And then I asked him, you, of all person, how are you going to go into business where people say whatever it takes? I said, this business you are getting into is a business of mafias, where people say whatever it takes. For the person I know you to be, unless you change that I'm not aware, if it takes presenting human head, are you part of the people who will play the game? He told me, I am determined to play in that game, but I will not play it based on the system and the way the people, the industry. I said, so how are you going to win? How are you going to be successful? He said, I will introduce a new system that people will begin to learn, to know, because to be able to run away from that industry means that lunatics will take over and decent people will run over. Get India, play by the rule, but hoping and believing somebody will get a muzzle pull and he will run ahead of him. Precisely. P2B, when he wanted to run for governorship of Anambra State, he was sitting in a board of Garden Express with me. And this time we are saying where people are saying we own the state, not that people own country, that state is supposed to be a private property. And I was telling him, I don't know you to be that ruthless as an individual. How do you want to get into this? But a determined individual with street smart sense told me we can't abandon getting involved because we have ended up allowing lunatic to be giving us a sense of direction and the route to go. And I say, good luck. For all intent and purpose, I never gave him money. I never supported him. And he won the election. He worked hard, tirelessly. Was impeached for doing the right thing. Because for the values he stood for, the industry, the people that rule in that industry do not believe in it. And it's not to go. The people like him, but the core politicians hate him because his lifestyle exposes them to maximum position that you can be decent and clean and provide leadership. So they hate him with passion. So, and my mind is that if this industry are industries of the mafia, where vote does not count, how are you going to play in it? He still convinced me that because some people stay away, that's why vote does not count, but that vote will count. He did it in Anambra State. and also pull capacity that nobody believed that he could pull. And if there were no greed, as we are told, we know what the result would have been in the last presidential election. But the presidential aspect had a greed in the day of election, while others did not have. So the manifestation was the interpretation, and we have accepted it in good faith.
Okay. Thank you for that.
So in a nutshell, what I'm saying, guy, there's no compensation in the ecosystem. Those that will live godly in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution. If your value, if you recall, I was in the car with you the other day, and there was a subject that comes up, and you were saying, what do you do? I tell you, I cannot do anything because I am not transactional person. I'm not looking for opportunity. Otherwise, it will appear that I've just find opportunity to do that. I will take my time because what is going on does not support my value proposition. So being a Christian is not easy. If you believe in something, in fact, you never believed in anything until you are willing to die for it.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
You are only as you never believe in anything until you are willing to seal your testimony in blood over it. And true leaders of all time have sealed their testimony in blood to show this is what they believed.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So my next question would then be, for those who are in that kind of situation, will you advise them to then change their business model, look for another industry that doesn't have that kind of issues?
Absolutely, Stephen. There are some industries that do not give you the same level of exposure as compared to others. That is true. That is true. You listen to me. If you are making a sacrifice for your faith, you know you are not making it for a human being, you are making it for God. Do you know, even normal big corporations, there are people who is part of their company policy, and I can mention a name like USC. They will not do any transaction with government.
Wow.
It's a board policy. That's why some of them had entered actually into major real estate, buying properties and building properties. You can come and rent it. You can come and lease it. So if you're a government agency and you come to lease their property and you say they should mark it up for you to get a cut, they will tell you, thank you very much. We will not lease it to you because it's no discussion. So there are, if you make up your mind, these are my value system, that's what will drive you. You can't get to an industry. How do you want to be a taxi driver or downfall driver and you are not willing to give area boys money?
Very true.
But you can't even driving it one day. So you are better off to leave that business because you know with that value system you have, you cannot succeed. Yes, you cannot change the wheel. So that industry, but you can decide today to say, I will still do transportation, but I will do Uber. You don't need to give anybody money to drive Uber. But your limited income, it will limit you because you can only go and carry somebody if you get a call or if you get a mail in your thing to, to be available. If you don't get, but there are other places, you can both physically fight and be able to get people into your own business. So your value system will decide which business that you are going to get into. Some of them you need to exit and don't have anything to do with it.
Wow. Wow, powerful. By the way, are we learning? Again, if you're learning, type I'm learning. Feel free to type the question. If you have questions for Dr. Cosmos in the question box. Also, if you want us to pull you up so that you ask your question, feel free to request. You can just say pull me up and we'll pull you up so you can ask your question directly. For whatever reason, there's some form of shadow banning on the account, so it's not allowing more people to know we're live. If I just had to check from Dr. Cosmos page, it's not even showing that it's live.
Wow.
So, but yes, but we'll look at it after this episode and see what's going on behind from the setting angle. But what's important is please share this video, because the way shadow banning also works is once we share, it means maybe somebody has reported your page, or somebody has complained about your page, so they kind of reduce the visibility of the page. But if more people also share the content, share what is being discussed, it automatically goes away. But my next question will then be about people.
Even hold your question, but don't lose your thought.
Yeah.
If you decide to be a teller, there are people who terroring is their industry. You don't have competition of bribing. You may not be gifted to be a terror, but there are people who have been teller, who are billionaires and millionaires and have made it in life.
Very
true. Ever tell me there are limited industry? There are quite a number of them that you can get involved in that reduces or even completely eliminate that exposure of bribery and corruption, or or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about thinking deep and saying, where do I go? There are industries, there are quite a number. If you take time to think, you could see clear. If I have a cloth and I'm doing well, you send it to a tailor. If you deliver in time, you will be busy that you won't have time. We discussed the other day talking about a young man that is doing tile that have 20 million naira business, and is not taking additional job. I also have a guy that I'm chasing every day to come and take a job. People are chasing for him, both from Ghana, from Cote d'Ivoire, a Nigerian guy doing furniture, because he does his job well. He knows his onion. So there could be a government job that he may get, and they said load it for 50 million. But otherwise, he had a private sector's job that are not asking him for anything, that he could do enough, that he's busy with his staff doing it because he shows competence in what he's doing. So and he can, if he doesn't have enough to even do a normal job, he has charge fee, and all he's driving him is integrity. Why do you think he has enough to go and compete for a job that will ask him to load invoice?
Yeah, that's powerful. Come on, if you got value, type I got value, I got value. Come on, everyone. My next question, I hope I've not lost the stream of thoughts now. My next question is for young people who are career-based, and everybody is saying now your oga business, now your company. In other words, trying to tell the person to compromise in the name of this is not your father's business. This is, why are you trying to, be excessive in trying to protect the interest of the owners of the organization? Should you resign in such organization? How do you manage when a place becomes toxic because of your values, you wanting to stand by what is right, and you even likely they're almost threatening you to say, we will not switch the table around. I mean, we've seen people accused of stealing when actually what they were doing was prevent stealing, right? And they go and put something. I mean, the example is Joseph. Joseph was accused of sleeping with his or raping his boss wife, or attempting to rape his boss wife. Meanwhile, the real issue was that it was the boss wife who was after him. So when your integrity has now put you or is about to put you into trouble, particularly in a corporate setting or in a job setting or in a government parastatal setting, how do you navigate that kind of issue?
Very simple, Stephen. Running away, in my opinion, is not the best way to approach life. You need to confront issues. If you follow the thought process of what I have shared, I am one of the person who, like I told you, I discussed with my fellow colleague that he's getting into industry that are very toxic based on the mindset of the people that is in it. That my own position that he should never start. But the truth is that light is brightest in the midst of darkness.
Yes.
You cannot run away from darkness to a great extent because you bring in light there. Many times people threaten, but even in their subconscious, they knew that what they are doing is wrong. If they try to intimidate you for a very long time and do not succeed intimidating you, you'll be making a belief out of them, because they will begin to have a rethink that what you are doing is the right thing and they are wrong. This is not to say that you can also find a very, very difficult situation. But born leaders, people who are really leaders, live by their conviction. And living by their conviction, if you get to read and know about Martin Luther King, people used to think the greatest message Martin Luther King praised was that title, I Have a Dream. No. One of his greatest message was a message preached in a Baptist church in the evening the day before he was executed. He said, this may be my last time of speaking because they don't want me out here, but I have to be here and I have to stand for what I believe. People pleaded with him and convinced him not to come out that very evening because of all the threatenings that he had had. He went to that meeting, made his last speech, walking into the car lot to enter his car, and he was shot to death. But the message was delivered because believers in their convictions don't. It said, I'm already dead, even where he was speaking, because it's not the fear of that. It's you are a man is so down to his conviction. If you are that convinced, you will stand there regardless. And that's what of the things I think this individual that I mentioned about before believed in, that he was convinced this was his call and he can make a difference. Those are the kind of people we are looking for in this country. Nothing is going to change until we find them. My con-ex also sealed his testimony in blood because he believed in his conviction and stood for it. Even though he was converted Islam, but he took Elijah Muhammad on for being supposedly to be the leader and fooling around with some other young girls. That was what brought about his execution. It was his fellow blacks that killed him. But he totally sold out to his belief in that they are the right thing and they will continue to do the right thing. He was also told not to go there. Under his wife's presence, pregnant to almost a point of death, they even throw shit and dead things in his room the night before that day. And people insisted to search everybody coming in. He said, we cannot subject our brethren to that kind of condition of search, which is a serious mistake his security people made, because it's not the leader that decides his security. It is the security agent that decides the protection of the leader. You can't be a leader and decide your own security, because he compromised it. If the people were subjected to search, those people will not be able to allow to bring in gun into that place. But the truth is that when you are sold out to a cause, your life, that's why I say you never believe anything until you are willing to die for it. Wow. Many of us claim we believe something because we have not been subjected to a threat position of our life. You will find quite a number would denounce whatever you said they believe when it has to do with death or life. But that's when you know this is what you believe or what you did not believe.
Wow, that's powerful. Come on, guys, can we clap for Dr. Cosmas for that amazing feedback? I have done zillion. By the way, if you have question, you see the comment section. Just go the question section, type your question there. If you also want me to pull you up to ask your question, just say pull me up. Don Zillion says, how can a young man leverage on real estate? Oh God, this is not a real estate question.
No,
this is not a real estate trading.
Yeah, but Stephen, you can take that. So to patronize him, since you are industry, don't deprive him about that. So take it. Unfortunately, it's most of your people that are here, because like you said, my channel now still is not showing live.
Yeah.
I read what is going on between me and these people. This the second or third time this is happening.
But it's okay. It's okay. We'll resolve it. So my advice, people always ask me, how do young people do real estate? Start as an agent. Particularly when you are doing businesses that are capital intensive and you are young and you don't have resources, start as a seller. One of the things people don't know is most countries we expanded to. We started as a seller. US, we didn't start with development in US. We didn't start development in Dubai first. We started by selling for other developers and understand it, because as you sell, you understand the business more. You make something for yourself. The entry of barrier is lower because you are just starting as a broker. But gradually, as you build your fund, as you build your connections, as you build your investors, you can now go into development. Imagine you've sold over 200 properties. It is those people who bought the 200 properties, though, through another developer, that you can bring together and say, I've serviced you well while selling for these other people. I have decided to start my own. I would like you people to please support me by investing. You'll be shocked that that's how you get your first investment. Those 200 people that have bought property from you, even though you were their agent, you treated them well, you serviced them well, they will be more than excited to then support you as you become a developer. So for me, any business I'm trying to do, I want to focus on, let's get some people value. Let's build a critical mass of people who have made it, who have tasted that I can do that thing before we now say, okay, well, let's raise funds for it. And this will also save you from making too much mistakes, because you will have worked for other people. You see how things are done. You probably will also have gotten one of the developers you sell for to be willing to mentor you, right? Thereby reducing your risk and your losses. I was with a oil billionaire recently, and we're having lunch. And one of our executive in his presence was saying, Dr. Steven, you need to go into oil and gas. And I look at the oil billionaire. I said, well, if my guy here is willing to teach me oil and gas, I'm interested. Why? Because until I get somebody who is ahead of me in a sector, willing to mentor me in that sector, I'm not ready to do it, right? Because that's the only way I can reduce my losses. If somebody ahead of you is doing something, in fact, there are ideas I have that still even happened yesterday. Dr. Cosmos took me to his friend's place who has something. What the man is doing is what I've dreamt of doing. In fact, that's what led me to. I was in tech before I went to US, and I saw how tech companies were having campuses. So I said, you know what? I need to come back and do real estate. And when I have enough land, I will later then evolve those estates into campus. Okay, but here was I seeing somebody who is already achieving that. So the first thing I just jumped my mind is, let's partner. I have the land. You are already ahead in some of these things. Let's see what we can do. So that's the mindset young people need to have. Everything must not be me alone. I must be the doer. And you don't have the resources, you don't have the experience, you don't have the connection, you don't have the contact. So why not go and service somebody who has all of that and let them be paying you a commission? But be intentional, save your money properly, and once you have enough savings, you have enough contacts, enough connection, you can then go and start your own development. So Don Zillion, that would be my advice for you. We have a question here from
Stephen, just 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
yeah.
What you said now is very profound.
Mm.
As many young men that are listening to us, please pay attention again. Successful people play by the same rule. Nobody is going to rewrite your own rule. If I sum up everything Stephen has told you now, is the kind of thing that the industry that gave birth to me, apprenticeship. I worked for somebody for 6 years and learn under his feet. Stephen said, when you become an agent selling, you've been able to sold to 200 people who you have their contact. And when you start, you can leverage on it to say, help me now on my own. When we did the apprenticeship, the day my uncle gave me 200 naira in 1976, my senior brother, who do not have this experience I have, were so disappointed that he said, leave the 200 naira, let us go. And I was excited because my excitement was not 200 naira. My excitement is that I can do with my life today whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I have contact. Those people that I serve well, service well in the industry while I was working for my customer are my social capital.
Very true.
I can leverage on them. You will not believe that when you did apprenticeship successfully, after serving, when you start your own business, customers that come will first bring you the list of what they want to purchase. It's what you don't have to sell, which what you have to sell is not limited to what is in your shop. It's limited to what you don't know where people have it. Because you can sell what is in your shop and you can sell what is in your neighbor's shop you know he had, that you know the price. Only things you didn't have in that list is what they are taking to your boss for your boss to sell. So it automatically, those 200 people are your first advocate. You are your first customers. They continue to support you and you continue to build a base to grow. This works everywhere, in every industry, on a consistent level. So you must learn to pay your dues, defer your gratification, learn under somebody, under apprenticeship system, get the knowledge, the competency of what you are going. If you listen to me on the 5 level of money, that is one of the important level of money, the 5th level, competence in what you are doing. And this competence is not magic, it's your time of learning, the process. You don't plant a tree the same day and it bear you a fruit. It has a moment of gestation, of, getting into the ground. You don't, if I told you today, I want to have a child, you don't say I want to have a child and have a child. Okay, you're a potential father because you want to have a child, but the process is that you have to get married, you have to pregnant your wife, you have to wait 9 months for the baby to mature before you call a father. No two way about it. If you don't follow that process, then you can only adopt a baby, but you can never be a biological father. So that's it. You make up your mind in whatever you want to do. Either you want original seed or you want an hybrid one, which can produce a life for you but cannot be duplicated. Because anytime you hybrid any fruit or tree, it's useless. It only produces once, but there's no sustainability. The correct way about life is talking about sustainability, not short-term, not transactional. And if you are talking about sustainability, then you play by the rule.
Powerful, powerful. Okay. We have a lot more questions here. Say, good day, sir. You put up a Rolls Royce challenge, JPI Saturday. When is the deadline? The deadline has since passed. Okay. So you should always take advantage of something on time. I don't know why we leave. You heard that thing since 2 weeks ago, and you did not take advantage of it, and now asking for challenge 2 weeks later. Superlative CEO says, my question is on corporate governance. How does a growing company integrate corporate governance into business? And how do we get board members who can influence the positive growth of the company? Beautiful question. This is the kind of question I'm looking for.
Very purposeful, driven question.
Yeah.
It, otherwise I can come behind it. But beautiful questions.
Okay. Yeah. So, good question. I think that what you want to do, from my experience, is that a lot of people will not just jump on your business if you just immediately say they should become board members. They want to see track record. They want to, they want to see what you are doing, and at least be able to be sure that they can put their name. Because once their name is attached, if anything goes bad, people will call them out, and they don't want that. So what you may want to start with are consultants. You definitely should have like an HR consultant, you have accounting consultant, tax and account, you have different consultants that are helping to support your full-time staff in different areas. You can turn them to a board, right, where you meet on a regular basis, review each of these issues, right? While you then invest in building relationship with the people you want to be on your board. For example, some people it will take them 3 years or 4 years or 5 years before they can, of knowing you, right? Before they can agree to come on your board. So while you are waiting and you can't leave your business for 3 years without corporate governance. So while you are building relationship with these high net worth people you want on your board, you can use consultants to augment that corporate governance process. There are also friends there are also people they may not be as high, because part of what you want when you set up a board at particularly for a younger business, is that the name. I remember the story of a woman who started an NGO, and she was always going to get funding. All the various agencies, nobody was willing to fund, from Guinness to MTN to all of them. And then at some point, she got Mrs. Awushika to agree to share her board. In fact, she said she didn't even know when, but Mrs. Awushika told her, said, redo your letterhead and put my name, Ibuku Awushika, chair. She said she then went back to those same people. To her surprise, everybody sponsored. So it was shocking that, okay, I didn't even understand. She was just even trying to bring her, not necessarily thinking that would then open the doors for people to start sponsoring her event, because she was into helping people. It was an after school graduate program for people after you graduate, courses you can do to help you position you for better jobs. So she then need companies to be able to sponsor those programs. But by that, it opened doors. So, but my point is, Ms. Arushika wouldn't just wake up and put her name on that kind of company. It must have taken her years to have built that relationship with Ms. Arushika. Dr. Cosmas did not just put his name as a board. You must have taken you years to build your relationship with him. Even myself, I won't just put my name on your board. I have to study you for a while. I have to even understand your business. I have to be involved. I have to see and understand that, okay, there's something real here before. So while you're waiting for that, leverage on existing relationship you've had. Like I said, they may not be as effective as you want in some areas, but leverage them. Use consultants. But more importantly, you yourself running the business, you also have to be very, very firm yourself. First of all, be the corporate governance on yourself. What you are telling others not to do, don't do it, right? Live by example, because you are the best example for the organization. Make sure your own family, for example, I've seen people whose family members can take anything from the business without paying, but they are complaining that staff are bringing their own family members to come and defraud the company or to do things in a way. So in GTEx, for example, even if you are my sibling and you want a job, I send you to the HR, and I've always told the HR is only if the person qualified, right? So that way, everybody else who work in the company cannot bring their cousin, bring their nephew, you see now, without due process, and just put them in GTEx to start working. Because even me, the founder, right, I've subjected myself to a rule to say, even my own relative, they want job, they apply properly, including contracts. You apply. If I've been to a site where I saw somebody I knew in university days who was doing some work for us, how did you get here? He said, I know you. I know if I come directly to you, you will not keep me. So I just went straight to the people in charge and I got the job. So those are also part of, because if you claim everybody should help you put the right governance in place and you are not willing to obey those things and lead by example, then it's useless. So let's have Dr. Cosmos input.
Absolutely correct what you said, Stephen. The young man should know, if you do not know, when a financial of a company is prepared, go and read it. Said the board is responsible. That's why if something go wrong in organization, the first port of call is the board.
Is the board, yes.
Who jump at being a board member without understanding the responsibility that goes with it is a heavy responsibility. So don't join any board until you are convinced of the credibility of the management of that organization, because you will be exposing your whole entire life and what you stood for. Who have really done damage to their credibility and profile by joining a wrong. And there is a big scandal of things unethical that are happening in that place, because the board are the people that set the direction, and then the management goes for execution. So the advice of starting with consultants is one of them. The second thing is, you as the operator, are you willing, are you deeply sincere, willing to submit to your board? Because people are looking for people to come and endorse them. If somebody like me sits in your board, unfortunately, I am not there to rubber stamp you. I may take you onto some inquisition that will make you uncomfortable. So you need to also know the level of people you are bringing in the first level, because it takes a process to grow. And even people to join your board, they need to watch over a period of time and watch your track record to be able to say, I will. So if you now begin to build that kind of relationship, you mustn't get the full set of board, frankly, to start corporate governance.
Yeah.
Because corporate governance is summarizes, is playing by the rule.
Yeah.
So the board is just coming to enforce it or amplify it. But it needs to start with the management or the owner operator who is willing to say, I'm ready to scale my business up. I want to differentiate myself from my contemporary and be in the league of professionals. Therefore, you begin to put system and processes in place. You know, what is required that can stand the test of time, both locally and international, in any way in terms of corporate governance and running your organization. So then the board comes, supervise it, and make sure that all of those things are in place. You are already on the right track, and they make sure they re-echo it every time that you are following all of those system and processes. That's how it works. It starts with you as the owner manager. Not so many self-made people are willing to submit with it, because for them, these things will not get you fast to where you want to be. But the truth is that cutting corner is the longest route to get to where you want to be. If you be institutional organization that will stand test of time and be relevant in time, the earlier you institute corporate governance in your business, the better is your actually beginning of the progress you want to make.
Thank you so much. So I also will add that you can start with an advisory board, right? Who are not necessarily yet on your registration documents, right? So they are not yet legally binded, but they are coming in an advisory capacity. We started that with our company some years ago, and it's been helpful. At least they don't have any liability, but they can begin to advise. And many of such people too, after a year of some years of seeing consistency, they can now be willing to put their name on, your company document as a board member, so, or non-executive director. So start with advisory board. Even when you want people to be on your board, don't start straight with them being added to your documents, because that is a bit more risky for them. So ask them to start in advisory capacity, and gradually the trust can be built together. You move from there. Okay, next question. Good day, sir. I'm a graduate in Nigeria. I have 19 million. Stuck between going for my master's in UK or invest in Nigeria, what will you advise considering the instability of the country? Another good question. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Stephen, you can take that. You are academician. You are better off than myself. But if you ask me today, I'll ask somebody that 19 million. Where are you going? What has master's degree had to do with it? That's something and build up. You can always go back to school if you have all those qualifications. And there are many people with master's degree here from UK that didn't have a job and didn't do anything. So but it's relative, but it also depends on that aspiration. So we on advice here. It's not us says God. We don't have we don't say God say this is it. If I have thought says the Lord on the matter, I will tell you there's no Bible passage that says this is what a young man with 19 million that had the opportunity to go to further his education. And so it's my opinion. And my opinion is not final, it's subjective based on the limitation of my knowledge. So therefore it's relative. So it cannot be absolute.
I mean, but you are very right. If you have 90 million, that's a lot to turn your life around and build a big empire. However, you must also be analyze the fact that not only money is not the only requirement for building a great business. So there are other things you need to look out for to know whether you are ready for entrepreneurship, right? Do you have this business you want to start? Do you have training in it? Do you have a mentor that is going to hold your hand? Because if you have all these things, then absolutely that's what you should go for. Start a business in Nigeria. We all started in Nigeria. We've expanded the business even to this same UK, right? So it's important to know that you have to look at other factors that whether you have debt, if entrepreneurship will be the next thing. But blowing it in masters is no guarantee for success. I know many people who have just finished their master here in the UK who are begging me for a job, who are asking me they don't know what to do. They are still struggling. Here in the incidentally, I'm in London as we speak. So it's been tough for a lot of Nigeria here in London. London has become like Lagos now. You can, in some parts of London, you can come and say, hello, Abawoni, and they will say, they will literally speak Nigerian language to you. The volume of Nigerian in the UK now is something else. So, and the system is not that easy too. And here you miss your rent, you are gone. You miss your car, it's gone. You miss your mortgage, it's gone. So it's a tougher environment. However, you are the one that know whether you are ready for entrepreneurship or not. It is you. We can answer that question. But if you know you are ready for entrepreneurship, then go. But if you know you are not, it's okay. Go do your masters. But while you're doing your masters, try and get what you lack. One, mentorship, training in that business that you really desire. But masters is not guaranteed for success. PhD is not guaranteed for success, right? What guarantees success in business and financially sometimes are not taught in school. So you need to know that. But education is still good because it helps you to be aware. But know that it's not just the four wall of university that you get education. So that will be, I hope we answered you anyway, or you got what you want. House of Trends NG. And I'm beginning to like you guys' question now, gradually. It's a good evening, sir. I'm a benefactor from the JPI National Youth Convention. That's so that's the event we spoke 2 Saturdays ago. So I have a challenge in transport model of my fast food delivery company in a student environment. What should I do? Okay, so I think what he's trying to say is that he has a logistic company. They deliver food, but I think his company operates in a university environment, but is having challenges with it. So what's your recommendation?
Well, my recommendation is very simple. The challenge is also subjective because it's not well stated. Maybe he need a more lively vehicle. Maybe the one he had goes to repair very often and things like that. I've always tell people, don't suffocate in business. Um, um, Once you have something that is a going concern that shows potential to make money, open up to some other investors, because you may have something.
We're not hearing you, sir. Did somebody try to call you? Hello, Dr. Cosmos. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Maybe somebody tried to call you. We can't hear you. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Can you guys hear me? Or can you hear Dr. Cosmos?
No,
Okay,
no. I noticed there was a phone call. One
okay,
this
we can
lady.
hear you now.
Yeah. There was a phone call coming in that disrupted my call. I didn't even know where you stopped hearing me.
I think it's at the beginning. We stopped hearing at the beginning.
Okay,
You were just
so
about
okay.
yes.
Simply, I'm saying any business that is, I'm saying the young man just say he has transportation challenge. It's an ambiguous word because the challenge may be he need to buy a new vehicle. The vehicle he had, is overstretched or it's not enough. So, but sum it up, he need maybe an injection of capital to get a more modern vehicle or to have additional freight. And what I'm saying is that any business you take on that is a going concern, that you can successfully prove to people the potential of it in the last 1 year or two of what you have done, you have some, result to show in what you have done. You can attract investor, somebody to bring in money. Many times we suffocate because we want to hold things only on our own and we are not willing to open up.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody to share in our knowledge or our secrets. We said, I find this thing. You just ask people, loan me money, loan me money. The person is loaning you money. Tell him be part of what I'm doing. I have a good idea that can make us money. People is a much better way than even going to bank to go and borrow money. Get somebody to share in your risk, but also share in your profit. But that will even give you an insight to know whether what you are doing makes sense or not. Because if you call me to put an investment in the business you are running and show me that that business will deliver only 8% income for me in a year, where I know that the bank rate of lending money today is 28, 32%, I will help you to say, do you really understand what you are doing? Couldn't you do this better than what you are doing? Are you really getting the value for your money to see whether you are even pricing your product appropriately, or that the level of the competition, because it's not every business you can get into. There are people who didn't go to school, who don't understand value for money. So every capital they have is like they dug it from the sand. They never consider cost of funding in the business they are doing.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of business you want to get into? Then you have to manufacture money or you have to win a lottery, because the people in that industry concern is only turnover. They have no value. They don't place value for the money they have in doing that business. And if you want to remain in that industry, your knowledge will never grow. You will be underutilizing your capital every time, because that is the industry where you belong. So these are all the information you will get by asking people to bring investment into the business, because the person will slay it based on what he already knew and tell you, you can give me this your money, I give you a better return, and you have sleep, no need to struggle, and it's a much guarantee something, or help you to really begin to say there could be something better that I can do. So my own position is simply, it depends. If you analyze what this challenge is, which I have summarized, it's either you need additional freight or you need, there are a lot of people who tell me they are in a sachet water business. Frankly speaking, everything up they are doing, they are wasting time. Absolutely,
It's a waste of time.
it's a waste of time. So nobody can invest in that industry, and you yourself that is in it, you are waste, because the people that is in that industry don't do the calculation you are doing. So how are you going to be competitive? So there are businesses you should exit and know what is the future in it on the wrong run. If you are in a wrong industry, so you leave it and find something that gives you some edge.
Absolutely. So the last question we're taking is from Ginger Raquel Daniel. He said, is it okay to register a startup brand on CAC first? Or is it advisable to grow the brand to an extent before you register it? So this will be the last question then. I will focus on asking you clarification on our last podcast. Yes, sir. Correct.
I will advise you to, if you are starting a business, the first thing you need to do is to incorporate it, register it. But in your article of memorandum, give yourself a very wide range so you can diversify into some other business as opportunity present itself. But don't, because by the time you say you are growing it, it also depends, what capital you have. These are things graduated, but don't start a business because from even the years of your registration that you have been in the business is a plus for you on the wrong run, assessing you that you've been in existence in the last 10 years or 15 or 20. Whether you are crawling for the first 3 years or walking, by the time you start walking or running by the 10th year, that 9th year, it's a different thing. If I'm telling you I've been in business for over 50 years and you are telling me you started your company 16 years ago, somebody must give me benefit of that I have some experience much better than you, having been in the industry for 50 years. So there are certain things people take for granted. Once I mentioned I've been in the business in the last 5 decades compared to you, who is just having a 10 years experience. But being in the business for 50 years does not mean you cannot start business in 10 years and do better than me, in all ramifications. So, but they have all their minus and plus. But I will strongly advise register your business from day one.
Beautiful. By the way, Dr. Cosmos business is 50 years this year. Can we celebrate him? It's 50 years he's been in business. I wanted to ask, are we celebrating? Are you doing an event to mark 50 years? Because it's something big.
Yeah, it is. It's nothing extraordinary for me. We've continued to move on. As I speak to you now in my head, I have a 25 years plan on paper that I'm looking for money to execute. So I am very futuristic. So that's
If you,
you.
if you
I
are
never
looking,
believe
yeah,
you.
if you are still looking for money, what do people like us do?
I, I, I don't know. It depends on the level of dream you have. So, so, so I'm looking for money to execute those plans. Yeah.
Interesting. This shows that when it comes to business, there's no destination, it's a journey.
No, it's a
Uh,
journey. It's not an
yes.
event. You don't use the word climax. There's no climax
Yeah.
on it because
Okay.
that means no room for improvement. So you set a goal, you beat it, you set a higher goal. That's how it goes. Yeah.
Yes, so wow, that's powerful. I wanted to follow up. We had some controversy about the last podcast we did with Shemo Kimbaloye, and we wanted to put some clarity to it. I think the first part is that people claim that you are comparing Peter Obi to the current administration, which is President Tinubu. So do you want to give a few clarification on that?
Yeah, it depends. Thank you for bringing that subject up, Dr. Steven. People will always like to hear what you did not say. And it makes it a little bit difficult sometimes to be very blunt and open in discussion and expressing things. I felt very bad when I read all of those things because it started trending. I almost spoiled my vacation with my son's 20th birthday. Some of the people who are diehard of my precious friend and brother Peter started abusing me, saying all sorts of things. In fact, Aisha even took it on her line. But in everything I've always looked for upsetting positive. One of the things that was interesting for me at the end of the day, I said, so I am that important that the things I said is making headlines, that people now are gathering, discussing my subject and things like that. Stephen, if you say things like that, I'm wondering whether it will make a headline. When if you say whether they will carry it and call it, because there are people will say things like, so it really means people are looking out for what I said. That really opened my eyes and said, well, man, then you got to be careful. You got to weigh every of your word, because if my word attracted headline that even a review in Allies TV carried a review in putting my subject as part of the topic to discuss, hearing different people, I said, wow, this small.
Hello, sir. Are you there? I just somebody tried to call you again. We can't hear you again. Okay,
Yeah,
better. We can hear
you
you
can
now.
hear me now. Yeah, there
Yeah.
was a call whenever.
Yeah. We probably should get you an iPad or something that we not nobody can call on that place. Okay, so go ahead, sir. You said you were surprised that it generated that level of buzz.
Calls that were coming in, and it's cut off now, so you can hear me.
Yes,
So
we can.
let me say again with no ambiguity, I wasn't comparing President Tinubu's administration to what Peter can do, because I'm wondering, why are you comparing what is present to what would be?
Mm.
I know Peter on one-to-one. I have dealt with Peter as an individual. Both of us sat in a board of an institution that I am a major shareholder for years. And I have had a personal interaction with him as a person. All of the people that spoke and abused me and said things, maybe they don't know Peter 1% with utmost respect to what I know him to be.
Yeah.
I went to see Peter in the office when he was governor of Anambra State. A man who knew I own 72% of a financial institution, and he owned 10% of that institution. And we were in his office, in our government office. They took the light off, and Peter refused to stand generator because it was on Saturday. I said, Oga, we are feeling hot here, and they put on the generator. He said 500 kVA for me and you. Please, let's go to the hotel. That is how shrewd in financial management Peter is.
Yeah.
I cannot compare Peter with anybody in this country. If he has comparison, it's me. Both of us think alike. We go to Abuja. If I go to Nikon Hotel, they tell me a room is 230,000 or 200. One night, I told them I sleep in my car. The following day, it's how many hours of sleep? 6 hours. It's only people like Steven that can put me in the room, and without telling me the room of the course. If you tell me you put me in a suit, the sleep will disappear from my eyes. But we can dash somebody 100 million. We can give somebody $2 million or $3 million to put in his business, but we can't spend that money on ourselves. So Peter is in a different pedestal. I never compare. I was making a statement of Nigerian young people rushing out to travel abroad by all means and say this country is useless. I said, if you like, go and listen to the top podcast by Shem so that you can get the contents. I was talking completely, but press, thrive on a negative news. And, some people took it and became too excited because I said something that maybe is complementary to the present administration. Yeah. With no ambiguity, Peter will remove subsidy if you think I made a mistake by saying it. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that Peter will not have removed subsidy and you are suffering the way you are suffering today. He will come and account for you every month what he did with his subsidy money. And you will see that subsidy money working for you. There's nobody would have run a government and continue with subsidy. It was wrong that Buhari did not remove subsidy the first week he came because they didn't understand. The part of Buhari not removing the subsidy is what we are suffering today. Actually, subsidy should have been removed when Obasanjo removed it. Yeah. Even before Jonathan Goodluck entered in. But Obasanjo removed subsidy before. It was Yar'Adua that brought it back. It should have, it's long overdue for removing. And if the money has been deployed appropriately, we would have been 10 times better off than today. So I was quoted out of context, and I didn't make mistake when I said subsidy should be removed. And it would be removed. Nobody would have gone anywhere. So, but what we are saying is, what did you do with the subsidy money? How is it affecting people? Because we are saying take money away from people who are flying private jets in it. Put it into infrastructure for Nigerian citizens to benefit from it. Cut people away who are, Nigerian government are subsidizing diesel, petrol that is selling in Chad, in Togo, in Benin, in all of those places. You cut some people's business off, but bring it into Nigerian nation. It's our hospital functional today where any Nigeria can go to hospital and get benefit of that subsidy money. It's our university system working where those money should be put back into infrastructure to benefit Nigerian citizens. That's what we are saying. And that's what I meant by when I said you don't remove subsidy and start taking a second wife and doing poverty alleviation. So please don't compare Peter with anybody. Peter is standing on his own alone. In fact, the only person I compare with him, both of us share the same. We both of us travel on a business, on an economic class. The base is business class. If Peter become our president, he will fly on a British Airways business. The best he would do will be first class. He won't buy private jet. So politicians don't like him because of he will expose them effectively. He's a core businessman who would have managed Nigeria economy as an entrepreneur. He left us in Anambra State with 70 billion naira in treasury, left $200 million in fixed deposit in Nigerian banks. Oh, nobody before he left office. No contractor was owed. So please don't compare him with anybody. I mean anybody. It's a totally business administrator who would have bring that nation into our own thing. So let's leave that so that I just don't know why I dabble into it. But at that, it was a totally misconception. I was not comparing the two. I don't get involved in politics, and I'm just being dragged into something. I'm telling young Nigerians, don't lose hope in our country.
Yeah.
Don't say the country is useless.
Yes.
It's a wrong statement because anything you cause can never bless you.
Yeah.
Just say it could be better. When a man or a woman lose hope, they submit to suicide. I've seen Nigeria entering canoe to be able to leave this country, dying inside the sea. It's as good as you are committing suicide because you have lost hope in the country. And I'm saying, don't do that. That was encouragement I was giving young people, and it was totally misconstrued. I hope I left myself with no ambiguity in this clarification that I've made.
Well, thank you for this. We will cut this and post it separately so that more people can watch it and understand the context. Again, for purpose of clarity, that interview did not even, Sheun did not even ask the question of compare Peter it was a conversation of encouraging young people to say don't give up. That if Peter had been president, he would have also removed subsidies. So there would have been some level of hardship we all will have experienced. So let young people look forward to a greater tomorrow, not give up, have hope. That was the conversation. It wasn't a thing of, oh, this person will do this or this person. No comparison.
Better than the other person. No, nothing at all.
No comparison. I was funny enough, I was on that same podcast. When it started going viral, I was like, wait, I don't understand. I also want to ask this question. I will first make my own clarification and then I'll have Dr. Cosmos because it also went viral as well. That you must have 3-bedroom, is it 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom apartment?
Yes, I also saw it. People
before you
can it to me also.
Before you can get married.
Went viral.
Yes,
yeah.
Those are the two viral statements. I would say, first of all, I think what we're trying to say is that don't try and get married, without having your own apartment. That was the context of the conversation. The 3-bedroom Dr. Cosmos was talking about, mind you, he wasn't even in Lagos. So yeah. I don't think Dr. Cosmos got married in Lagos.
No, it's in
right?
Anambra State.
So a 3-bedroom in Anambra is not the same as 3-bedroom in Lagos. So you need to understand the context. When I got married, I also got married to a 3-bedroom, but I had to move to Songwater. My office was in Ikeja, opposite Computer Village, but it was a 1-room office, and it was 3 times the cost of my 3-bedroom apartment in Songwater.
Sure.
So I moved to Songo. I was living in Songo, and my wife met me in my 3-bedroom. But I intentionally picked that place because with small money, I'll get a bigger space, and she can come in. And as we have our children, there's enough space. Okay, and it wasn't in my parents' house. So what we were trying to clarify there, Dr. Cosmos also says his own part, was to say be financially stable to a point that at least you have your own rented apartment. Okay, you have a source of income so that your wife will have something to eat. Okay, and be okay. Not that you don't even have where to live, you don't have a job, and then you say you want to marry. That was what we're saying, but we're not saying because a 3-bedroom, for example, in Lagos, obviously most young graduates cannot even afford to rent such, or young people cannot afford to rent such. So please get that context right. But I'll have Dr. Cosmos touch on it and we'll wrap up for today.
Stephen, thank you very much. Like I said, I had that also. It went viral and many people were commenting on it. Don't even talk to me until you listen to Dr. Maduka. No, and like I said again, I was wondering, so I've become important that my words are valid in that way that people need to now use it as a reference point. It only humbles me and helps me to know not to talk carelessly. But let's put it in proper context. Stephen, do you know that even after 8 years that I was married, I left Anambra State and came back to Lagos, and I got 3 bedrooms in Ajegule.
Very
My
important.
wife and I were living on number 16 Ladepo Street in Olodi Apapa in Ajegule. And I didn't live in Ajegule for 1 year or 2. I lived there for 10 years.
Wow. Wow.
I moved from that place to a Gunjobi's place called Beachland Estate, still in Apapa, at the back of Hebrews whatever, because it's close to my office. I was there. Some people I was paying salary were living in Ikoyi.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
talking about moving into Ikoyi. I told them I'm not in a hurry to use my business money to go live. I left. I was living a tenant. I left that tenant to move to Ikoyi, where I am living now. And I moved to Ikoyi about 20 years ago. But 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I have money to have built a house in Ikoyi. But
True.
I needed something to support my business. I didn't want to build a house out of inconvenience. I didn't want to build a house borrowing money from the bank. I didn't want to start a building and say rain should beat it, beat the block. I called the contractor when I made the money available to my wife. I got involved in designing the building, and my wife sat down with the contractor and they decided it. The building started and finished exactly the way it is before we moved in there. Let me explain. If I'm coming from the Bible perspective, we have examples. Abraham got Eliezer under an oath that is going to get him a handmaid from his kindred, means a fellow believer, people who are not idol worshippers, who share the same value and principle. Eliezer went to get Isaac a wife. And when he met Rebecca, before then he had prayed that God's favor would be with him. And when he eventually explained to the family of Rebecca the mission that he was under, and that it would meet their favor to surrender her daughter, because that was the pattern in those days. Rebecca didn't ask. Eliezer came with horse and bogo. Rebecca America did not subject Eliezer to inquisition, did this guy you are talking to me, do he have BMW? How many bedrooms did he have or three? The parents said, let's ask the lad. And the question is, will you go with him? The lady didn't begin to say, he never explained to me, or he said, yes, I will go. Of course, he is being married to a priest. Remember that after Abraham died, that his father, after Sarah died, Abraham married a lady called Keturah and has 7 children by that woman that he married. And Abraham gave every one of them a gift and sent them away. Only Isaac he allowed to stay in the home because Isaac inherited Abraham. Everything Abraham had was Isaac. Let me make this point very clear. Yes, a wife can support her husband. What I'm saying, in the modern day and time, qualification for marrying a brother is not the amount of tongue that he can speak. Many of us has played very real importance in having something doing. If wealthy, that's why we have today in churches where people have divorced 2 or 3 times and they are deacon or deaconesses in church. The level of divorce we have today, wealthy people still have problem in their marriage. Finance is one of the greatest things that break marriage. Finance issue.
Yes.
So it's not something to be taken for granted. What I told you my wife did is not about my 3-bedroom. My wife asked me, where are you taking me? And I shared my vision. By 20, we will be here. By 21, we will be here. By 22, we will be here. And she held my left hand and said, we do it together. What I'm saying is, marry a young man with a vision. Ask him, where are you taking me to? Share your visions with me. What plan do you have? It's not what he can do alone. The reason why you need to share your vision to your girlfriend or your spouse is that in future, during your discouragement moment,
yes, he will remind you.
Prophet, he began to prophesy into your life.
Yeah.
Did you say God told you you will do this? Go for it, you will do it. But if he never shared anything with you, it become a hopeless situation for you because there was nothing at all you are looking forward to.
True.
Don't be too excited and asking the wrong question. Do you love me? Wrong question. Ask him, where are we going? And what does that mean? Share your vision with me. Any lady that is waiting for a self-made something, you will never be a greater part of it if you are not part of making it.
True. Very true.
My wife is my partner in marriage, but partner in life. That the company we incorporated, Charis, is Cosmas and Charity. It is from Cos that the Charis in the Cos is my wife's name. That's many people are hearing Charis. They still didn't know the code, the meaning behind it. People thought she wasn't, that I have 3 bedrooms did not make me, because I said I have 3 bedrooms, but I was driving motorbike. I have 3 bedrooms because I have plans for my life, because I want to get married. I do not take a lady to my mother's place. So people should not take the things out of context. Means I am a purposeful, driven individual and that I have plans for my life. But I didn't have 50,000. If I want to put it clear, when I married my wife, I did not have 50,000. My total capital is not 50,000 in my time of that time. But I once asked her what was her attraction to me, because her parents, his uncle shot me because he thought she made misjudgment. Actually said I cast a spell on her because they think it was totally misfit. I couldn't put my tenses together. How many of you are willing to marry a young man that cannot speak good English? That time, I used cutlass to cut English. Then they say. That was how it is. But my wife is a visionary lady who, by that time, without me even telling her that degree, success is not a degree, she could see that this is a futuristic, successful man.
Yeah.
So she took a risk on me because she told me she was fascinated by my, first of all, is that I'm very articulated individual. My is and was not matching. I dressed decently enough that I was appealing to her, and she felt she could be part of this, especially after I shared where I wanted to be in life. That's why I said, outside of the baptism of the Holy Spirit, there's no better gift God can give a man than a good wife.
Very true.
No man can go far and successful without a good wife. Solomon said, out of 1,000 men, you can find one good man. But out of 1,000 women, you may not find one. And a bad woman will be a water in your blood. Many people are experiencing hell here on earth because they have a wrong wife. So marriage is not because you kiss the lady has a pointed nose. You need to marry character. You need to pray that God give you the right woman. Outside of the baptism of the Holy Spirit, there's no better gift God can give to you than a good wife. So please, because this determines your entire life. It's not something Bible says you should not be entered into unadvisedly. It's not something you do at first sight and excitement. It's something you really need to pray and be sure you have thoughts the word of the Lord over it. Still, you can take a step of chance in faith, trusting God. Because people like me don't believe in divorce. If you leave your wife or husband, you stay without a wife for the rest of your life. If you marry, the Bible, you can't misinterpret it. If a woman remarried after he had his first husband, she's living in adultery, and the man married him is also living in adultery. So let's keep the Bible straight. So marriage is not one thing you should not jump at if you don't understand what it is. Can you divorce? Yes, but stay single. That's my own. So if it's as difficult as that, Paul will say, quickly reconcile with your wife, because you have wife, you have a living husband. You can't have another wife. And many ladies don't like me also saying that. It's a very difficult something to say. So don't misconstrain me. If you need a counseling, come one-to-one. I will counsel you and tell you exactly what I'm saying. But you need to understand what is marriage. Don't go in anything you don't understand, don't touch it. The purpose of life is why. If you don't understand many people, have you heard about child abuse? If you don't understand about child, don't have a child. Have you heard about husband or wife abuse? If you don't understand it, leave marriage alone. If you don't understand, there is purpose for everything. God never made any. If you don't understand purpose, and purpose is why. If you don't understand purpose, leave that thing alone. God created cocaine. Cocaine is important. And people will say, Dr. Monica said we should take drugs. No. If you go to hospital now and they are trying to give you toothache, what they give you there is cocaine. That injection you have is something that numbs that teeth, but it is in a proportion to give you that. That's why if you use things out of its contents, it becomes drug abuse. When you don't know purpose for anything, you abuse that thing. So what you first to know is purpose to be able to make progress in life. I hope I address this matter in a most appropriate way.
Wow. We've done 2 hours, guys. We wish we can continue, but we have to stop here. Again, I hope those two subjects that are misconstrued are clarified. We'll try and cut out these 2 clips and put it out there. I'm very sure it will still go viral, but we hope, because I can't guarantee that even when people still hear this, they will still agree, because I know how social media works.
Find a way to put across each other, like the way my friend, the other one and this, so that if the person listens to this, he should listen to the second one. Cut 2 of them together for those who are listening to get the clarification. But those who are not interested will never even want to hear. They will come with
exactly.
Program.
Exactly my point, that some people will still see it and still choose what they want to believe. So, but we'll do that, as you've said, and let's hope that we clarified. But for your information, Dr. Cosmo has a very good relationship with Peter Obi. They're very good friends, and and they have a good relationship. And he wasn't comparing one person to the other. That wasn't the context. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Dr. Cosmos, thank you once again for sharing and willing to always educate. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Stephen. For those of you who may be disappointed, let us tell you again, we are going to take the next IG Lives, how to restore a broken character. So spread the news, because
what date are you proposing, sir?
we will look at it. I don't have my diary here, because it's important we focus on it, because only 2% of leaders have fall and come back effectively, survive their mistake. This is one of the major problems in leadership, how to fall effectively. The problem is that we have to learn how to fall also, not just how to succeed. We just have to learn what to do when we fail. We have to learn how to fall, how to get up, because only 2% survive it. We've been taught how to succeed in life, but we've never been taught how to fall effectively, how to bounce back when we have messed up. We need to be trained. We've been trained only how to succeed, but we've never been trained how to fall. And that's part of the thing I would like to take the next subject we take. So that, because every one of us do make mistake in life, and we will make mistake, but we need to know how do we bounce back from the first mistakes we have made and become the better version of ourselves and what we plan to do. So it is something that is very important, and many church try to avoid it and share away for it, because it's like a controversial something, and that's part of all the mess that we're going through today in our society, where we have not placed the importance of character. You need to restore your character when it's broken to be effective leader.
Okay, beautiful. We'll do a banner of coming soon, and then hopefully we agree soon about the date. If we can get the date on time, so we'll plan it. Maybe I'll call you later today and we'll look at it. Okay, guys, thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this show today. We appreciate you all. And can we all help me celebrate Dr. Cosmos one more time and congratulate him on a whole street being named after him? Let's celebrate him one more time. And we thank you. We appreciate, again, when I saw the viral stuff, I said, this is the risk of choosing to fertilize the young people, because young people also have their own, but it's a risk. I hope one day you look back and say it was worth it. But thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time to be part of this. God bless you and have a wonderful evening.
Don't forget to look why they took me out, because most of the people who were supposed to connect under my whatever has
Yeah.
been totally eyes today.
Yeah. I would say it's not connected with the with the viral comment, because it's connected.
It
I've
could.
experienced it before too,
Okay.
so I know why. But if that one is normal, after a while it wears out, so we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
Take care.
Bye bye, sir.